Hey guys, MCU Collector here with a new video. This one is the Hasbro Marvel Legends series Amazon exclusive box set of Alpha Flight. It has hit the US first and not Canada. My buddy Quinn, as he had mentioned on Instagram, that Canada got Captain America first and then America got Alpha Flight first before Canada. So kind of funny how that all worked out. But pretty awesome set for Alpha Flight. So it almost completes the team, which is great. And then we have the Sasquatch Build-A-Figure from before in Deadpool Wave 1 of 2018, I think it was. And then we just got Guardian in the Wendigo X-Force wave. So Alpha Flight is really coming together. So really cool set. It was expected originally in December. Now we have it here early to mid-November. So pretty awesome. People started getting a charge. I got mine a little bit later in the day, and then all of a sudden it was like, hey, it's shipped. It's going to be arriving tomorrow. So pretty cool. Sorry I didn't get to the video the day before. I know a lot of you guys have been waiting for this, but we'll get right to it. It's a 6-pack. I talk way too much. We'll see how long the video goes. I won't get super in-depth on the females, probably because they all share the same exact body. At least, you know, Northstar and Shaman actually have different bodies, so go a little bit quicker. The highlight's probably going to be Puck, because I don't have the original Build-A-Figure, so we really want to talk about that, because that became a pricey figure that a lot of people wanted. So really awesome set. Here it has the open flap, so you can open it up, and when you see that we have Marvel's Snowbird, we have Marvel's Shaman, Marvel's Aurora, Marvel's Vindicator, Marvel's Puck, Marvel's Northstar, because we need to know that they are Marvel's property. So pretty cool box set there, and then you can open it up. Here is the outside of the box set, and you can see I got all kinds of stuff going on here. Really awesome. I love the way it looks. It has that Marvel 80th anniversary logo there on the top. On the side, pretty cool. We get a look at all the characters in the set. Then we get on the back this awesome look at all the figures together in a little group shot. So really cool. Let's get this opened up and see all the figures. Okay, and here is the entire Alpha Flight box set all out of the package and together, and they look really good. However, these figures do suffer from some poor paint apps. So it kind of sucks. You know, when you get a box set, you would like everything to be kind of nice. You like all figures to be nice, but there's some poor paint apps on several of these figures, and I'll go over that as we go over each individual figure. So it's a little disappointing in that aspect, but it's the typical things that we see. Now, I wouldn't necessarily call it a QC issue, because when you have yellow paint over green, of course green's going to bleed through, so it's just one of those things where Hasbro should have gone over with another coat of yellow, or whatever, and then the white on the black just comes out looking sloppy. Snowbird's got a lot of sloppiness on her legs, so it's just kind of one of those things. But other than that, it is a very good looking box set, and again, I will go over each figure individually, but let's go over to another quick shot and we can see the two additional members of Alpha Flight together in there. Okay, here is another look. I added Guardian and Sasquatch in there this time. I tried to recreate a classic image of the Alpha Flight team. There is a big difference, of course. This one includes Vindicator. The box set does not have Marina. Lots of people have been asking, you know, why she wasn't included. Is Hasbro going to release her in the future? Who knows? I really don't know. I couldn't tell you who is the popular character. I would imagine it would have something to do with Guardian being released and then them looking the same and, you know, using different names and being married, all this and that. That's why they would do that. I couldn't tell you for sure. I really don't know. But I think those two do look pretty good together. So here is this image. I think I kind of like the way it came out looking. I think it came out looking pretty good compared to that original art. Sasquatch is very undersized compared to that image, but I still think it works, and again, I do like the way it came out. So let's take a look at each figure individually. And then we'll kind of go from there. Again, the three female figures share the same body, so I won't go over articulation for each and every one of them. Maybe I will for their head movements, but again, they all share the same body mold. Puck obviously is his own. Shaman and Northstar are different body molds, so I'll quickly go over those, but I don't want this video to be like a 30-40 minute video the way I talk, which I'm doing now. So we'll get right to it. Let's take a look at I don't know, the pair of Aurora and Northstar first. Okay, so here is Northstar and Aurora here side by side. They are twins. I'm trying to pronounce her. Jean-Paul Beaubier? and then Jean-Marie Bobert. I can't pronounce these French names; they're difficult. So I think they are from Montreal, Quebec. So forgive me if I butchered their names. I'm sure I did, but they do share power. So Northstar, his powers are super speed and light generation, and he's also a gay member of Alpha Flight. I just found that out. Aurora, she actually has the same mutant powers, but super speed, flight, light generation, and molecular acceleration. So it sounds like she actually has a little bit more powers compared to her brother. So they have the same costume except kind of the opposite. So this little burst here is on her left, or Northstar's right. That's the kind of the difference. Now between the two, there's a couple of things with these figures. The black and white, the costumes I think look great. I remember there was a big deal during the Marvel Universe days that they were doing variants. So there was like A-Bomb and Abomination, and then it was supposed to be the Alpha Flight figures was supposed to come out. So Aurora came out, and then Northstar never got released. And then it got released when they relaunched it as the Infinite series. So I know around that time, since then, everybody's been really wanting these figures in 6-inch form. I'm sure even before then. So we finally have it here with the box set, and they do look very good. They do both have the pointed ears, and that's awesome. The problem I have with these is the paint app. So it suffers kind of the same thing that Vindicator's going to suffer with, and then Guardian suffered with. It's the black, it's the white on whatever solid color that they have. So there's some weird things. So here, like on Northstar, the torso is white plastic and then black paint over it. So I guess that's okay. The lines get real fuzzy though there. Here on Aurora, the upper part looks like it's white plastic and black paint, but it came out so much cleaner on her, and I don't know why, you know, like on him it wouldn't come out clean, but then her lower torso is black, and then the white is painted, and the white was painted like crap. It's very fuzzy. I don't know what happened. Oh, whoop, hit the camera. And then here, like on her arm, so it's white, it's white plastic, and then they painted black. It's like, why wouldn't they use black paint and then paint the shoulder part white? Because now I have this big old paint gash that's missing right there on her arm. And it's like, well, why did they do that? So it's just kind of some weird things with that. Surprisingly, on her legs, that the paint app is actually, for the most part, pretty cleanly done. It's just here on her torso, it's very fuzzy and really just didn't come out very good at all. But the head sculpt looks really good. I really like the way it looks. I think kind of the bright lights really getting on that and making her eyes look kind of creepy, but they are a nice bright blue, and that looks pretty good. Looking at Northstar, again, that's real fuzzy and just doesn't look all that good. Looks real bad right here. On his legs, it's just a very little tiny bit, so it'd be very hard for Hasbro to really mess that up. But the rest of it looks really good. Here, head sculpt looks pretty good. For whatever reason, it just looks like a Zac Efron to me. Anybody else see it, or is it just me? Oh, it looks pretty good. Okay, so here is Vindicator. So Vindicator has also gone by the name Guardian. Guardian has also gone by the name Vindicator. So they've kind of switched back and forth. They are husband and wife. She was at one time a leader of Alpha Flight. Her suit gives her geothermal abilities, so she can melt rock and kind of manipulate the lava with it. So that's pretty awesome. Now, an interesting thing is that these two figures use different shades of red. So Guardian is a much lighter, brighter red, whereas Vindicator is a much darker red. I really like the darker red, how that looks, but a couple of things. So we get a lot of fuzziness. So it's white plastic upper torso with a lot of red paint. So the red paint came out really fuzzy over here on some of these lines, and it just kind of looks a little wonky. I hate that, you know, it kind of came out looking, but the rest of it came out looking pretty good. We just get the dark red painted along the side, and that looks pretty good. Now, one thing that's weird, and I know this happens, these hip parts, these upper leg portions are hard plastic, and then the legs themselves are of a softer plastic. So that's why you see a lot of different shade color. But one thing that's weird is these lower legs almost have a pinkish hue to them because they kind of give it a pearlescent look. Now, what I think is odd is they're able to do this hard plastic and a pearlescent look. I just think that the coloring was just a little too off. You know, when you look at Guardian, of course you see that there's a little bit of difference, but it blends nicely, whereas on Vindicator I don't think it blends all that well. It just looks kind of a little funky to me, but maybe it's just me, but that's kind of how you know, it looks to me. Now, her head looks pretty large compared to her neck. That's probably just a little bit of a nitpick on how that works. When I first took it out of the package, I was a little worried about her hair because it's so thin. I'm thinking that could break off easily, but it's actually ported in there. I kind of pulled on it a little bit. I'm sure if you gave it enough force, you could pull it out. I didn't want to force it too much, but you can get a full swivel with her hair there, and then you actually get a little bit of a wash in that red hair, and that looks pretty good. So I really like the way it came out looking. Paint apps on her head sculpt came out really good because that red on that visor, they really could have overdone it, or even the lipstick came out looking really nice. It's nice metallic color to it. So it executed well for the most part. It's just a lot of the fuzzy paint there. Okay, let's move on. Okay, next up is Shaman. Now, Shaman is a doctor, and he is also a sorcerer in Canada. He is a member of the First Nations, which is the term used for the Indigenous people of Canada. This figure really suffers from a lot of the paint apps. And again, this isn't so much a QC thing. This is a thing of just not enough paint layering. So the green really bleeds throughout the torso here, especially the shoulder balls around the joints. You could really see a lot of that green come through. And then you could see here, there's an extra dab of like yellow paint there, and you got the green really showing. So that's the only problem with this figure. Other than that, the figure came out looking really good. The head sculpt is fantastic. We get nice paint around for the headband there. The face itself was sculpted real nice. Straight black hair, that all looks real good. This belt piece here, this yellow is painted on extremely well there. So that's my only complaint. It's just not enough yellow over the green, but the figure itself looks really good. And then it is a standard Bucky cap with the pirate boots there. But yeah, he looks really good. Okay, and here we have Snowbird. So I'm holding her up because she's very difficult to stand. This cape kind of swings to one side, so it really makes her back heavy, and she just wants to constantly fall over. So I just cannot get her to stand up very well. But she's got a number of different powers. So she's a member of the race of superhumans known as the gods of the Native Americans of Arctic Canada, which sounds very odd to me. Native Americans of Canada. Sure. So she's a metamorph. She can change into a lot of different animals of the north. So a pretty interesting power set. What I really like about this figure is the metallic blue that they used on her torso throughout. That came out looking really good. Unfortunately, that's the only place where you see the metallic blue is just on her torso, and then actually around her neck, which the cape covers. So the blue for her arms and her hands and her legs and her feet is a different blue. And then same thing here, we get white over the blue, which gets really sloppy. So we got some of the blue coming through here, and then just a lot of sloppiness there. So it's unfortunate that, again, another one of these figures, we kind of see that same thing going for it. And then you could see the blue cape there, which came out looking really good. It's really soft and pliable, but it just makes it heavy and harder for her to stand. We get a little bit of a wash actually in her hair. Her hair is super yellow, so they just kind of did a little like black wash kind of thing, very lightly done throughout to give it a little bit of a textured look. So that came out good. Oh, and we do get that same metallic blue there on this headpiece. It's very soft and pliable. You can really move that around there. The head sculpt looks pretty good, except you could see a lot of neck going on in there. So that head sits very high on that ball peg. And then the paint apps on her face came out looking pretty good. She just kind of has like white for her eyes and a little bit of black going around, but came out looking really good. So there we go. On to Puck now. Okay, and here is the Puck figure. So I remember people would always show Puck with, you know, standing on his one hand. So it's pretty cool that he can do that. Because there's no movement in that hand. The hand is kind of stuck that way. So you can see that there is no wrist articulation to this guy. So this is the same figure as the previous Build-A-Figure. They didn't give us a different puck. One thing that I'm a little disappointed in, so it's kind of weird. Now, the box art of the figure shows a lot of dark wash paint on his legs and his arms because he's a pretty hairy guy, but it didn't really translate well into the final product. So there's a kind of a dark, a little bit of a gray wash on his legs. It's much heavier on this leg than on this leg, and it's not too heavy on the arm. So it's supposed to represent the arm hair. I don't think it quite worked out the way they wanted it to, and I couldn't tell you how the Build-A-Figure is because they don't have that to tell you for sure. But the figure itself looks pretty cool for what it is. He's got a metallic orange P, and that looks pretty good. While I have this guy, we're going to go over his articulation since, you know, he is, you know, completely different. So you do get swivel in his head. Can't look down that much. He can look up quite a bit, so that is really cool. His arms can go out that much. Pretty cool. You get a full rotation there. There is a swivel at the elbow, and it is only a single joint, so straight out, and then you're going to get that much of a bend there, which not really quite 90 degrees. There is a wrist swivel, but there is no hinge on the guy. No wrist hinge, and that's the same for this one, but this one is a fist as opposed to the open hand. No torso articulation whatsoever, no waist articulation. He can do the splits that much. He can kick forward that much. He can kick back quite a bit as well. There is a swivel at the knee, actually, and then you get a single jointed knee, so you're only going to get that much bend in the knee. There's hardly anything there. Whoops, very, very little. But you do get a boot swivel in there, so that's pretty cool. And then you get a foot that hinges all the way down, hinges up a little bit, and then you get that full ankle pivot. So that's pretty cool. Interesting little figure. He is a little guy. He is a dwarf, but the figure itself is actually pretty cool. I'm happy to have it because that Puck Build-A-Figure goes for crazy money. Mainly that Emma Frost figure from that wave too is just insane. So there he is. Okay, so I was wrong. All three figures do not share the same body. Aurora and Snowbird, they do share the same body. Vindicator actually has a different body. So we're going to go over the articulation of each of their necks. I will go over Aurora and then quickly go over Vindicator. So I'm going to get Songbird out of the way because she's just going to fall over, I'm sure. As far as how movement of her head, she can look all the way down unnaturally, so she's not going to look back because that hair is just going to get in the way. Now with Aurora, she can look all the way down as well, and she's not going to look up because her hair is going to get in the way. So full swivel, of course, there is some pivot in there. Shoulder can go out way, way, way high. You get a full rotation. There is a swivel at the elbow, and it is a deep single elbow, which mine is a little bit stiff, so I'm not going to do that too much, but I'm going to go with the right elbow, and you get a solid 90 degree, maybe slightly more. So it is got a deep bend, so that is pretty good. Diaphragm joints, which you can pivot to the side that much, pivot to the other side that much. Forward only a little bit, back a little bit more, not a whole lot. No waist swivel, legs go out that far apart. She can kick that far forward, not really going anywhere back. There is an upper thigh cut there, double jointed knee, which works out really, really well. No boot swivel or anything, but you get ankle pivot, ankle that hinges down that much and hinges up quite a bit as well. Going on to Vindicator. So Vindicator, she can look down. I can't really get that hinge. Doesn't really want to work, so very unnaturally so, because it sits very high on the neck peg and just looks really bad when you do it that way. She can look all the way up, and again, that looks really bad too. So it just sits way high on that ball peg in the neck. There, you get all kinds of pivot with that though. So much unnatural, just, God, that just looks really weird. Swivel, these shoulders can go up only so much because it's a much bigger shoulder ball, so it's not, you're not going to get a whole lot of motion in there. You kind of have to work it, and then you can get it to go up that high. Full swivel, of course. It is a single jointed elbow with a swivel at the elbow, and you're only going to get about 90 degrees, so it's not as deep as the other arm. You can see that's all you're going to get. Diaphragm joint pivots to the side that much, pivots to the other side that much. Not really going forward, but she goes back a little bit. Yeah, forward's like nothing. Legs go out only that far apart, so not a whole lot at all. She can kick super high forward, and goes back just slightly. There is an upper thigh cut there, double jointed knee, no boot swivel, but foot hinges all the way down, hinges up a little bit, and then you do get a nice ankle pivot. Now onto the guys. Okay, so we see Bucky Cap all the time, but about a while ago I skipped over articulation on Bucky Cap body, and people were mad. They got pissed. So I did a poll, and everyone's like, yeah, no matter what it is, we've seen the figure reused over and over and over again. We still want to see articulation. So let's do the articulation of the Bucky Cap Shaman. So he can't look down that much. He can't really look back because his hair is going to get in the way. Shoulder ball goes up that high. You get a full rotation there. Upper bicep swivel. You get a double jointed elbow, which only works out so much. You kind of have to work it, but you get a little bit over 90 degrees. Their wrists swivel, and they do hinge. You get an ab crunch, you can crunch forward that much, crunch back that much. There is a waist swivel there. His legs go out that far apart. He can't kick forward that much, which is pretty good. He can kick back a little bit. There is an upper thigh cut in there. You get a double jointed knee, boot swivel at that boot cuff there. You get a foot that hinges all the way down, hinges up, and you do get ankle pivot, and these are the tiny baby Bucky Cap feet. So Northstar, he uses the all-new, all-different Spider-Man 2099 body mold. So it's a very good body mold. He can look down quite a bit. He can look up somewhat. Shoulders go up that high. You get a full rotation. Oop, I don't mess it up. And then we do have the butterfly joint. So he can go back that much. He can move forward that much. So this works out really well with somebody who has super speed, just like the Quicksilver figure from the Amazon Family Matters 3-pack. Same body, of course. Ab crunch, he can crunch forward that much. He can crunch back that much. There is a waist swivel there. Upper bicep swivel, double jointed elbow. So you get 90 degree, maybe a little bit more wrist swivel, and they do hinge. Legs go out that far apart. He can't kick forward that much. He can go back a little bit. There is an upper thigh cut there, and mine's very stiff. You have to kind of loosen it. Double jointed knee. There is a boot swivel there. Foot hinges all the way down, hinges up a little bit, and you do get ankle pivot. And that is the articulation for all the figures, which I tried to go through really quick for you guys, and there we go. Okay, so one final look for the Alpha Flight box set with, of course, Guardian and Sasquatch added in for the view. I will include a link in the video description below to the Amazon listing. It's been going in and out of stock, so keep an eye on it. You guys let me know what you guys think of the box set. You're going to be picking it up. Have you ordered it? Is yours coming? Did yours get delayed? Which I know for some folks it did. I'm curious. Let me know down in the comments below. If you guys liked the video, hit that thumbs up button. Subscribe if you haven't done so already. And as always, thank you everyone for watching.